Hey guys, it's your friend Gare back with another video for you today. Yesterday in my pickups video, I kind of talked about the fact that I recently decided to start downsizing my collection. And if any of you guys noticed, back here on this wall, usually, basically as far as your eye can see, it's all PS2 games, that's all you can see. This whole shelf is full of them. But if you look, the PS2 games kind of stop here, and then it starts running into PS1 games. So, you know, like I said, last week I decided to start kind of downsizing what I have and kind of change it out, what kind of collection I have. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about in this video with you guys. Why I decided to start downsizing my collection, what I decided to get rid of, and what my future goals are. I had a couple of you guys ask me, you know, in the video yesterday, you know, why I decided to quit going for the PS2 collection and all that stuff. I just figured this would be easier to kind of talk directly to you guys as well as everybody else. In kind of a more generalized manner, instead of just kind of individually doing it in a comment section, which normally I wouldn't mind, but this is kind of a discussion I wanted to do anyway, so I thought it'd be kind of a cool thing to do and just kind of interact with you guys about it. So when I first got into video game collecting, I had a very, very specific goal of what I wanted to collect. At the time, I really just wanted to collect, you know, anything Zelda related, anything Final Fantasy related, and then some RPGs that I used to like, you know, back when I was a teenager. And that was really it. But once I got out of the Army, I got back to civilian life, and I had more time, more storage space, and a little bit more money, because you don't make jack shit in the military. I started going kind of crazy with it, you know. I would pick up more and more things, you know, slowly but surely. So I'd start picking up Nintendo stuff, Super Nintendo, and then after a while, you know, once I started doing garage sales, thrift stores, pawn shops, all that stuff, I kind of lost my mind. You know, I decided at that point I was just going to collect anything and everything that I could find. If I didn't have it, and if it was cheap enough, I was going to get it. So I just basically wanted to amass as large of a collection as I possibly could. That's kind of what the goal I had, you know, at the time. I want this huge collection of like 5,000 games. I don't care if they're crap, sports titles. If I never play them, I want them all. And, you know, that's kind of the mentality I had up until probably, I don't know, about 6 months ago. So I started sitting around thinking about it, and, you know, I really changed my outlook on that, and I decided that's just really not the collector I want to be anymore. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people who do want to go for that sort of goal, where, you know, there are guys on YouTube where they have these huge collections, and, you know, probably 85% of what they have, they're never going to play, they're never even going to take off the shelf. You know, they have these huge collections, and that's what they're known for. And that's great. You know, I'm not going to knock anybody for any collecting goal that they have, as long as they're in it for the right reasons, of course. But, you know, to each their own, and that's totally fine. But that's just not the kind of collection I want anymore. So, as many of you guys know, if you guys have been watching me for a while, my main goals for the longest time was to get a complete PS2 collection and a complete GameCube collection, both of which are pretty daunting tasks. The PS2 collection is very, very large, as you guys know. It's pretty close to being 2,000 titles here in the US. So in order for me to have that complete of a collection in this room, this entire shelf holds about 6, 7, maybe 800 games. So this entire shelf would be full. This entire shelf would be full. My little bookshelf over here, I'd probably have to fill up the entire, my like GameCube, Nintendo one over there. And then all these system shelves. I mean, this room would be literally just a PS2 room. So that, you know, in itself, I don't really care to do, because I want to have other stuff in here, and this room just doesn't allow for that kind of storage. So that's kind of a big reason I decided for that. Not only that, but just the task itself of collecting that many games. It just seems very daunting and overwhelming, and I don't care to do it. Same with the GameCube. You know, it's not nearly as big of a library. I think it's like 600 games or something like that, somewhere in that number, in that range. But, you know, a lot of people are starting to collect for that system now. So, you know, a lot of the games that are big heavy hitters and kind of more obscure to find, they're getting to be really pricey, they're getting to be harder to find, and I just don't want to deal with it. You know, it's Nintendo, so that in itself carries a big name, therefore a large price tag. But, you know, you start getting into games like Pokemon Cube and, what are some of the other big ones? I think NCAA 2003, that's a really hard one. You know, they're just, some of those big heavy hitter games are getting really ridiculous, and I just don't want to deal with it. So, you take into consideration the fact of having such a large library for those 2 collections. I mean, that's a lot of space dedicated just to 2 consoles, and again, including the price tag that goes with it. I just don't care to do that anymore. You know, I'd rather... What I really want to do is I want to have a high quality collection over quantity. You know, when people walk into my game room, I don't want them to be, you know, in awe because of how many games I have. I want them to be in awe because, you know, they come in here and they see, oh my god, you know, you got all the Zelda games, you got all the Marios, oh man, you've got all the Black Label PS1 RPGs, you know, quality stuff. I don't want them just to be overwhelmed, and the first thing they see when they walk in here is 20 Maddens on the PS2 straight in a row, and all these other crappy filler titles that no one gives a crap about. I don't want that kind of thing. That's not the kind of impression I want to leave. So another big reason why I kind of decided to downsize was, if any of you guys know, if you've seen my game room tour, the room that I have my games set up in, it's not a very big room. This is actually supposed to be like our dining room area, but I was fortunate enough to be allowed to have this space for everything. So it filled up very, very quickly. It actually got to the point where all of my shelves were completely full. I mean, like, there was not 1 inch of space that was not used. And I was starting to have to stack games all over the floor. Like, there was just piles and mountains of them everywhere. And I've even got boxes of stuff put in storage that's full of Xbox games, crappy Genesis games, stuff that I don't really care to display right now. So it was just getting really overwhelming in here. It looked like crap. And... you know, I know eventually we're gonna buy a bigger house and I'll have more room to dedicate to the space, but you know, in the meantime, I want to have a more a cleaner room, you know, just a more quality room. And then even when we do have a larger space, I don't want to fill it with crap. I really don't. So with all that being said, you know, I went through this entire room and I looked at everything that I really want to focus on and what, you know, I could really let go of. And man, I ended up getting rid of a lot of stuff. Like, as you can tell back here, like I said, the PS2 collection, I probably cut that down by 25 to 50%. I mean, there's a huge stack of games over here that you can't see, but I showed a picture on the Gaming Central page that I'm getting rid of, and that cleared up a lot. And to be honest, I could probably go through all of my PS2 games every day and find a couple more that I'd be willing to get rid of. It's just, I kind of had to take slow steps as to getting rid of them, because I've been telling myself for like, I don't know, 6 months that I was going to downsize. And every time I came in here to actually take games off the shelf to get rid of them, I bitched out. I couldn't do it. You know, the hoarder collector in me wouldn't allow me to do it. So I had to kind of start slow, but I think over time I'll get rid of more things. But yeah, I just basically got rid of, you know, sports games that I know I do not give a rat's ass about. I'll never play those. Other titles that I know are filler, that are garbage, or I have no interest in whatsoever. So, and that's quite a few, you know. If you saw how many sports games I pulled off the shelf for the PS2 alone, that's probably like 40 or 50 games. It's ridiculous. So, I did that with the PS2. Same with the GameCube, you know. I probably got rid of half of my GameCube collection because either they were titles that I have on multiple systems, they were sports games I don't give a crap about, or, you know, they were games that I just, like I said, I have no interest in keeping. So that was quite a few that I got rid of. Same with the Wii. I mean, that's the thing, you know, with all these systems, there's so much shovelware and so much crap that gets thrown onto it. That's just another reason I don't really care for a complete collection, because the nature of the beast is you're going to have to get all that shovelware, all that crap, and it does not interest me whatsoever. So at this point, you know, I've got a pretty good idea of what I want to focus on. As far as my collecting goals, you guys know I'm a huge fan of handhelds, so that's probably the main thing I'm going to focus on is, you know, getting all the rest of the Game Boy Advances, the SPs, DSs, 3DSs, PSPs, all that stuff. I want to try to get as many of those complete in box as I possibly can. I love it, love it, love it. It's so fun to collect for, and I think it's much more of a reasonable task than collecting entire libraries of anything else. So that's one thing I want to focus on. I want to keep working on my Doom collection. You know, there's a few more titles I need to get for it that are kind of hard to find, but that's something I still want to really work on. I love my Doom collection. As you guys know, like I said yesterday, I'm a huge survival horror fan, so I really want to keep focusing on collecting all those that I missed out on. Like Rule of Rose, that's going to be a hard one to get, but that's one I really want to eventually pick up, and other ones I don't have yet. and continue with my Resident Evil collection. That one, it's a lot of fun. I love that series, so that's one. I want to keep working on my Final Fantasy VII shelf. You know, there's so much Final Fantasy VII merchandise out there that I would never run out of stuff to buy for it, but I want to keep working on that. Continue my Funtastic N64 collection, get some more of the colored GameCube systems. I mean, there's plenty of goals. I mean, I'm definitely not without that, but I just want to have a more quality over quantity collection, and, you know, just really focus on a few things instead of these huge monumental tasks that will take years and years and years to do, that quite frankly isn't going to amount to very much, in my opinion. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this video. That's really what I wanted to talk to you guys about. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys have anything you want to add, you know, let me know what you guys collect for. You know, if you guys are going for any sort of complete collections, what your goals are, how your collecting habits have changed over the years, or, you know, if you think that my thoughts on it are correct, incorrect, whatever you guys have to say, I'd love to hear from you. So, you know, leave a comment in the comments below. Do a video response if you guys like. I love seeing those from everybody. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. So until next time, I will see you guys in the next episode. Take care.